We do.
Ready, go.
All right, it's 1:30, Thursday afternoon in the capital city. I'm like 75% sure I won't be able to find my car after today's show.
I don't know why you're complaining.
Parked at a different garage.
Way cheaper.
I don't know. Well, it didn't take my card coming in. I waved the wallet. I waved the card in front of it. Do you wave it in front of the push button?
Yeah, just.
That's what I did, and nothing. So I.
Did you go on the left side?
Yeah, I always brake to the left.
That's
you
the
exit
problem.
on the
You're
right.
supposed to go on the right.
Oh.
You wave it in front of the yellow thing.
Yeah, where the button is.
Yeah, where the ticket comes out, right?
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
You go in on the left, and you leave on the right.
No, right. You stay right the whole time.
No, I went in on...
I just did it on the right. My card worked.
Anyway, I'm going to get home around 7 o'clock tonight. Oh, well.
There's only 6 levels. The 7th is blockaded off. So you should be... It should only take 30 minutes.
I remember... Because we've run out of things to do reality TV shows on.
Sure.
And so for a time, I think it was True TV, did a show on mall cops at the Mall of America. And
Oh, I remember that.
like really cheesy and over the top. Like your job is to like make sure kids aren't skateboarding and stuff. But I remember, it was the Black Friday episode, which was incredibly lame. But the show ended with one guy, like someone like forgot where she parked, and some guy had to walk the lot.
Oh.
At the end of a Black Friday shift. And I'm like, I'm not a death penalty guy. Yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't even think of going to mall security, because if I was mall security, one, I would have David Carradine myself, minus any of the erotic aspects. But two, yeah, I'd be like,
Who were you kidding?
good luck. Well, if you're going to punch your own ticket, you might as well go out on a high note. But
Yeah, come on now. That's the way to go. Yeah, I can't imagine doing that. I did call Mall of America security one time to help me with the jump start because
that is normal.
and they told me they don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, really? Because in Des Moines, if you need a jump start, mall security, they'll take care of you.
Or a parking garage.
Yeah.
Takes care of those things. They generally have like one of those, units on hand or something. So it's just kind of a service.
Yeah, I was right. It stunk because we were on my motorcycle and we'd take my motorcycle down there.
Oh, can't you do that with like a couple D batteries or something?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I left the key in the on position and pulled it out, and you can pull the key out and it leaves the parking lights on. I didn't realize it. Yeah.
Wow,
it was a bad
that's
deal.
Bad design.
Yeah, I think so, but it was a Japanese bike. My American bike doesn't do that.
Oh, so it has less features than the Japanese bike.
No, it's got more features. It's also fuel injected and runs better.
Coming up on the show today, something I've been talking about for a long, ad nauseum, I think some would say, how the right wing has some brand and base problems, and I just noticed today because I spend way too much time looking at political sites, but now even non-political sites have seemed to pick up on this. KCCI for one, and Gawker of all people for the other. So we'll talk about that. Steve King is Schrodinger's representative. Go watch, was it season 2 of The Big Bang Theory where they explain Schrodinger's cat? You can pick it up there. In this case, you can be both right and wrong at the same time, or maybe honest and dishonest at the same time. Depending on, where you look at. We'll explain. And Ken Sorensen cheering for death. Yeah. First, though, did you watch the 12-12-12 concert that went all the way into 12-13? That was a long ordeal. You missed Kanye West in a skirt.
I've never missed Kanye West.
Oh, it was awful. How to absolutely kill.
That's why I'm saying I've never missed him.
I don't know the average age of a performer there, but by the end of the show, they were making fun. It was a bunch of old, English dudes. The Stones were there, and the Who, and then like out of nowhere, Kanye West, and what I tweeted at the time, there was nothing with his performance that Kool Moe Dee, an actual New York City rapper, and a high-powered rifle couldn't fix. Absolutely awful. But I know some of the networks turned it off before. It was McCartney with the surviving members of Nirvana. And apparently the key to seeing Paul McCartney has to be keep that guy up past midnight. I don't know if he's a gremlin or I guess Mogwai. But at the Super Bowl halftime, like kind of dull and hey Jude, all right, we'll all sing along, hooray. The Olympic opening ceremony was the exact same performance, and they say, Paul McCartney, I figure, okay, we're going to get, you say, he was rocking last night. I mean, he's approximately 134 years old. So apparently he transforms after midnight.
I don't know that I believe this story.
I don't know if it's on YouTube or...
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch Kanye in a skirt and
well, no, I wouldn't watch the Kanye in a skirt, but
or a Beatle that I'm not.
Well, and I know I'm gonna get called for heresy. I don't particularly care for the Beatles. It's not like I will admit that they are great and ground shaking and all. It's not it's not what's on my iPod. It's not my taste. But I understand the role of, a Paul McCartney in the music world. It was nice to see him bring out the guests. But he actually performed well. Maybe it's just because Super Bowl shows are meant to be boring now. And then, there's a certain... we must maintain a certain standard at the Olympic opening, except for One Direction and the Pet Shop Boys. But no, McCartney was really good last night. If you get a chance to check out the video, because most people were asleep. The show started at 6:30. I think it was about 12:45 or 1 o'clock our time before the thing finally got over with. So that was actually kind of impressive. All right, these two stories kind of tie into each other, but I have to start with one to get into the other. And if you ingest any right-wing material at any time, you understand their love of martyrdom. So-and-so punished, crucified, destroyed for being conservative Republican. It's the paranoia narrative. And as leadership is being selected and put together for the incoming Congress next month, a handful of House Republicans were stripped of their committee membership. This has become kind of the cause celeb, at least in the right-wing radio world. Justin Amash, Tim Holzkamp, David Sweikart, among them. Here, this is from Tiger Beat on the Potomac, Politico. These Republican Party is being called out by conservative activists for kind of benching these guys, or saying they were purged from House committees for what they say is a matter of sticking to their principles on tough votes. But some of their colleagues say these Republican representatives were yanked by the leadership-driven Republican Steering Committee because they're jerks. Or, in the words of Representative Lynn Westmoreland, quote, a conservative who was close to party leaders, told them that the earmuffs a-hole factor came into play. In other words, these guys are dicks. Later, a spokesman for Representative...
Earmuffs for the a-hole factor, but you can say dick freely.
What's wrong with Richard? Dick Nixon.
That is not how you intended that to come off. I just want to point out the hypocrisy there, Bradshaw.
I'm trying to be family-friendly and polite.
I just give that up. It's not a good fit on you.
No, not really. Hey, a Republican representative used the word, so... it's okay if you're a Republican for everything else.
I wouldn't have been offended by either one of those words.
I still have that kind of filter, though. I don't say, Now, Westmoreland's representative tried to walk back saying that they were obstinate, not a-holes. But in one of these cases, your first instinct is usually correct. And this kind of ties in, I think, with something. A lot of these publicity hound conservatives who make headlines being a-hole really aren't. And maybe one example of that is Iowa's own Steve King. Met Steve King, talked with Steve King. He's not crazy. He's not stupid. He's not some sort of backwoods, hillbilly, redneck jerk. But that is the persona. A more cynical person would consider it a character he plays when you put a camera in front of him. And he knows that his bread is buttered by saying outrageous things. He's not really like that. Kind of same thing with Grassley. I mean, these master panderers. You know, Grassley has kind of perfected the shucky darn, kind of bumbling farmer, kindly grandpa thing. But when you get down to business, that facade drops off. I've seen angry Grassley. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Even the White House, who brought Grassley in as one of the main Republican negotiators on Obamacare. Thought, here's someone reasonable we can deal with. What did they get for their troubles, for reaching out across the aisle? Grassley on a street corner saying that the Obama administration wants to pull the plug on grandma. Death panels. So, understand, Steve King is not the guy he portrays in the media, because, frankly, the guy he portrays in the media is a pretty repugnant character, which leads to he is Schrodinger's candidate. And this may be the quote of the year. In the Washington Times, an article from yesterday. Steve King says that he does not know what happened in Benghazi, but it's worse than Watergate. And again, here's a case where you can be both right and wrong at the same time. I have no problem believing that Steve King has no idea what happened in Benghazi. But it's the worse than Watergate. And I still don't understand exactly what the conspiracy Republicans are trying to create out of thin air is. It's a huge, massive cover. Of what exactly? Now, Republicans have a bit of advantage here. They understand probably far better than certainly their audience what was actually attacked was, a CIA asset. You're not going to get straight answers out of the CIA pretty much any time for anything, because they don't have to. Remember when Republicans, to grandstand, decided to invite the TV cameras in for an open hearing on Benghazi, and as soon as the satellite photos showed the CIA annex, Darrell Issa, Jason Chaffetz freak out. Like, boy, that doesn't confirm, because the State Department was talking around the fact. Like, they would never say, this is a CIA asset, whether it's a black ops site or whether it's a detention facility. And these are trained professionals who talk around these things. When you freak out live on TV, that's a pretty good tip-off that something unseemly is at work here. Later, the conspiracy moved to UN ambassador, probable Secretary of State nominee Susan Rice. And the conspiracy was that the White House, in an effort to something or other, gave her talking points to mislead the American people. Actually, no. White House had no say in it. It was the intelligence agencies that gave her the talking points to head on the Sunday shows with. Like something like Watergate. I understand what the conspiracy is. Trying to, fix an election or cheat. Probably something you want to cover up. Iran-Contra. If I was making illegal arms deals, I would probably want to cover it up. That conspiracy makes sense. I'm still trying to get what the heart of the issue is here. I guess this is just kind of the default outrage du jour for conservatives. They don't have anything else, I guess, to freak out their audience about. They've tried to blow it into something. I guess that's why it has failed to take off. With Whitewater, they were looking for, an excuse to just delve into anything Clinton to throw at him. And they're desperate for another Whitewater. And the fact that Republicans have to pretty much make stuff up out of thin air, whether it's trying to connect Obama and Eric Holder to Fast and Furious, one of Chuck Grassley's favorite conspiracy theories, or the Benghazi mess. I mean, remember, we didn't even know all that had happened yet. Not even, forget the reasons behind it. We didn't know about, 2 dead Navy SEALs before, Mitt Romney was holding press conferences trying to beat, Sean Smith's dead body over Obama's head. Then, remember, it became, not only did the crowd assault Ambassador Stevens, but for about 48 hours there, the outrage is that he was abused and sodomized. We all saw the photos of, Benghazi locals carrying Ambassador Stevens, posted, front page on the Drudge Report, with the insinuation that this crowd came out, was celebrating the death of an American and dancing around. What they very rarely showed you was the video. Because what it showed was a crowd saying, God is great, he is alive. They took him to the hospital in an attempt to save his life. But I wonder how many right-wing mouth breathers know that. Because, Fox and Drudge or Hannity going to leave that little detail out. It doesn't fit the narrative, so we're just going to ignore it. But give the impression, not that we would intentionally mislead our audience because we think they're a bunch of rubes and dupes and marks and we need them for fundraising purposes. But to see Steve King do this, I think it was, who was it at BuzzFeed? Andrew Kaczynski. 7 Obama Watergates. Runs through the list of things Republicans have compared to Watergate. One, the BP oil spill was Obama's Watergate. You can go to my Twitter feed. I retweeted what Bing. But according to Republicans, Obama now has 7 Watergates. He's that crooked, that evil, that bad. We've reached a level of derangement. I mean, I think we've gotten past even the Clinton years. And for all the happy talk about how great a president Bill Clinton was now, I mean, am I the only one who remembers the 90s? right? Hammer Pants, Dikembe Mutombo, NBA Jam, grunge, spin doctors. Like, when Republicans threw everything they could at Bill Clinton. And in right-wing circles, it was absolutely okay to say anything. Murderer, killer. Maybe we reached peak wingnut back when Rush Limbaugh had his own nightly TV show. And joked, hey, we know there's a White House cat. Did you know there's a White House dog? And held up a picture of, I believe at the time, 13-year-old Hillary Clinton or Chelsea Clinton. Picking on small teens. Big man Rush. I would call you another impotent white male, but the fact you got picked up coming into the country with unprescribed Viagra, I think, already told everyone this. By the way, what does a multiple divorcee on a boys' trip to the Dominican Republic, noted sex tourism haven, need Viagra for anyway? You should explain that one sometime. I mean, God forbid Republicans don't do well in 2014. I can't even imagine what the reaction is going to be. And Obama's already worse than Hitler. Where do you go after that? Where's the next step? I'm sure they'll find it if they don't shoot each other first. In some cases, literally. All right, 244-0077. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw for almost all of your Bradshaw needs. If there is a need that it doesn't take care of, seriously, don't tell me. I don't want to know about it. Just go to the website. It's got show archives, link to the Twitter and email. It's all there at thebradshawshow.com. And it's where you can click and it just takes you right to the feed every day. We take care of you. When we come back, the non-political world is noticing some Republican problems. Yes, there's no shortage of political media out there. Why? Because like high school sports and the weather, it's something that there will always be. What happens when the non-political media picks up on it? Sure signs that there is a bit of a problem right here in right-wing River City. I'll explain when we come back. You're on The Bradshaw Show on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Back right after this.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I am administrative manager.
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
If we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, it's your home.
It's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
If you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
Rock concert movement number 1. The basic head bob.
All right, 156. Thanks for coming along on a Thursday afternoon. Absolutely gorgeous out there. I'd given up hope on any sort of decent weather pretty much ever again. But I just kind of give up and cocoon.
Ever again?
Well, at least until like April.
Okay, because I mean,
I'm jealous of bears. If I could hibernate through the winter, I'd do it.
I could see that.
Winter is awful. It's terrible. There's nothing redeeming.
Have you ever thought about picking up and leaving Iowa?
To where, though?
Like Arizona.
Hellhole.
Okay.
Full of racists and sheriffs with tanks.
Okay.
Try again.
I don't know. Some like Miami.
Maybe, but Florida. There's a reason like FARC has its own Florida tag, just because there's something not right.
Yeah,
and
but
I
there's
don't know.
nothing wrong with Miami. It's really the other.
Miami's kind of dirty. I was there a few months ago.
I like Miami. Now I don't think Miami is as nice as everything down on a coast town like that gets kind of dirty because that seawater.
Tracks the bad element.
Yeah, well, that seawater does a number to it. Yes, I understand.
But no, Florida is a weird, like, Loveline used to do Germany or Florida. Because, again, they give you this weird, obscene, something just wrong with humanity story.
What about Southern California?
And fall into the ocean. Or catch fire.
Middle of California?
NorCal I could do.
There you go. I mean, it never gets that cold there.
No, but it's crazy expensive because it's such and still runs the risk of falling into the ocean.
I don't think
see you down in Arizona Bay.
I don't think it has that much risk of actually falling in the ocean.
At some point, they're overdue for a big one.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's not going to fall in the ocean. Maybe just L.A. I mean, and who's going to miss L.A.? I wouldn't recommend L.A.
No, L.A. is traffic hell.
Unless you're
as nice as Clueless made it look, it's absolute traffic Armageddon.
Well, unless you want to walk a lot, which, I mean...
It's one of the least walkable cities on Earth.
What are you talking about? You could walk in the middle of traffic and never get hit by a car.
I told you, they sell, and these are big sellers in the LA area.
The slings for the laptop.
A sling for your laptop to put it on your steering wheel so you can get stuff done because you're going to be in your car for 2 hours. They have bumper-to-bumper traffic there at 2 in the morning on the 405.
And that's why they buy such nice cars down there is because they got to live in them, so you might as well enjoy what you're driving.
Yeah, I don't...
And it's like having it parked. I mean, you have a Lamborghini there, you're never going to get any miles on it, and you could spend your whole day on the thing.
Well, can't you just run it backwards, take the miles off?
No, that only works in Ferris Bueller.
Oh.
And I'm not even sure it worked in that. That just shot it out of a window.
Warm places attract a bad element. I mean, I was flying through Minneapolis once.
That's not warm.
No, but it's horrible weather. And I was speaking to the gate attendant, I don't remember, about something. I'm like, is, they keep it like 5 degrees here in the terminal. Like, how do you live up here? So it keeps the riffraff out. Because there's a certain...
It's why we don't have a huge homeless camp here. I mean, we do have some, but...
No, they build hutches.
Oh, no.
Here.
I've been in wintertime in one of those cabins that they've built, and they are actually quite warm. They're provided...
warmer than the Skywalks.
Some company provides them with propane heaters and propane throughout the winter as part of their outreach to the homeless. And so
that seems like a bad idea in these wooden structures. I'm sensing a Deadwood like sort of thing going on.
A bunch of frozen people doesn't.
Well, yeah, I mean that's.
It's.
Well, that's a whole bigger issue with the whole not in my backyard thing, and no one wants.
I don't really mind them. I mean, I think we can trust people with a little bit of fire. I mean,
I think they went overboard with the bulldozers, but it'd be nice to find more.
I think would make more sense if they objected to that would have been to wire the place so that they could have had like a heater or something, a little electronic heater, if they really were that worried about it.
Yeah, I mean that was just that was bad times all around. But yeah, there's nowhere warm that really appeals to me. What's a warm, walkable city? Because when I was in Boston, I got too many years in the suburbs. Most of the time, if I'm going to a big city, it's Chicago, which again is great. You take the L anywhere you want to go, but Boston was kind of an eye opener to me because you can walk anywhere. Oh, we're going to a Sox game. All right, how are we getting there? We're walking. What? And it takes no time at all.
Sure.
And in the span of an afternoon, you can walk, through the Back Bay, Fenway area, all the way to.
Well, I like Minneapolis for that same reason.
Minneapolis is very walkable,
especially
downtown.
like St. Paul. St. Paul's really nice. It's bike friendly too. If you like to just jump on a mountain bike and go a couple blocks.
But my friend lives in the Florida Keys, which
that's walkable.
Well, not really.
Oh, I could walk.
Well, I
would
Key
need to
West,
walk. I would need to walk
big.
Out of my door.
It's this big
to the ocean. And then walk back into my door. That's all I need.
You can stand on one side of Key West and spit into the ocean. On the other, just don't spit over the naval base, or they'll probably shoot it down. But Key West is tiny. That's its own little. But they all live through, up those islands, and you do have to drive.
Oh yeah, you'd have to have some. But you get like a scooter.
You gotta take not on Highway 1. No, you will die. Not only will you die horribly, you'll back up traffic because there's one road in and there's one road out.
Yeah, no, I've seen it, and there's a bunch of little crosses where people died on scooters.
I was talking with my buddy yesterday. And he's like, yeah, there was an accident rush hour yesterday, and some people sat for like 3 hours. It was like one of those, it was really messy, head-on, jaws of life type deals that just shuts down the road, and no one gets home.
People fly down that road, and it's really narrow, very freakishly narrow, I would say. No shoulder.
When we were coming back, driving to Miami, where we flew out of, got stuck behind the ice van.
Ooh.
So apparently some Cubans... had made it. Apparently, that's a regular, like every other year occurrence. Everyone has their story of hanging out on the beach, and here comes the raft, and they just they show up because we have the dry foot policy, which is if the Coast Guard catches the Cuban refugees in the water, they send you back. But if you get even 1 foot on soil, then you're fine. So they land and. Some of these rafts and bathtubs and repurposed anything they get their hands on to make that trip. They come and they grab a handful of beach or dirt or a mangrove branch. I made it. I'm here. You can't send me back. But I got stuck behind that van. Come back and they drive really slow. They don't speed. So it's like. And
it's a cool drive though. Like I know going over the bridges, I saw lots of sea life in the water.
Oh, 7 Mile Bridge is awesome. But getting back to, he was in Minneapolis, and he's originally from Chicago, so he should know better. But we were driving to a Twins game back when they were in the Metrodome, and he goes, "Why do they have all these walkways over the streets?" Because he'd only ever been to Minneapolis in July. Like, come in October, through, June. And you will understand very clearly why they have a very intricate skywalk system in Minneapolis. Because they get 6 feet of snow at a time. They crash the Metrodome from time to time. So,
We actually have more skywalk per capita than any other city in the U.S. in Des Moines.
That doesn't surprise me, just because we don't have the hugest population.
Yeah, it's per capita, but that's still kind of cool.
It's great.
I love the skywalk here.
Yeah, it would be a lot harder. Everyone would move to the suburbs. Everything would be in West Des Moines.
Well, yeah, you couldn't do business down here because one parking garage wouldn't hold all of the employees for any one business that uses that building.
No, and there's a lot of traffic.
Oh, yeah.
At least during the midday. 3 or 4, you could pretty much have the place to yourself. But
yeah, sure.
That kind of 10 to 2 period. Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of which, drove by the old Register building. They're moving. On my way in today, and
I wonder what they sell that big globe for. I'd love to put it in my. They got that big globe that's in the case. Put it in the middle of my yard. It'd be pretty cool.
You might get that tagged.
Maybe. I live on the south side. It'd probably just get stolen.
Yeah, someone would rip it off and use it as a hood ornament.
Make meth. They'd find a way to make meth.
Yeah, like instead of shake and bake, like spin and win or something. But I'm kind of scared to talk about this next one because I don't want to give the Register any ideas. Even as the CEO of Gannett can lose 80% of the share price and walk away with what, $40 million? Was it $30 or $40 million? But you didn't even get a golden parachute. It was like some sort of platinum diamond blend. In addition to the layoffs and attrition at the Register. They're very keen on furloughs now, which is basically everyone gets 1 week of unpaid vacation a year. And now Kansas City is a bit in a rough spot, but they've taken it one step further. Forget reductions in force, layoffs, forget furloughs, forget attrition. They've gone full on Thunderdome. The Kansas City Star told 2 reporters, Karen Dillon and Dawn Borman, that one of them has to leave, and we aren't going to choose, you are. Like, how evil is that? Both of them are accomplished. But since Karen Dillon has seniority, so she has the option of taking it or not taking it. So basically, Karen Dillon gets to choose if she gets fired or... I can't even... Like, how big of a Richard do you have to be?
Do they give them, like, knives?
I mean, yeah, it would probably be, easier to do it Joker style.
Sure.
We're having tryouts. But when did the workplace turn into 2 men enter, 1 man leave? Jim Romanesco points out the fun fact that Karen Dillon probably deserves the job. She was the one back in 1991 who first reported on Pee Wee Herman. In the movie theater. She was just a lowly cub reporter at the time and knew that Pee Wee Herman's real name was Paul Rubens.
She killed an icon.
She
deserves it. She killed an icon.
Well, if he hadn't been polishing his icon in public, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Might as well have been Big Bird. Now who knows the word of the day, and how do we spread it around?
She was working the 3 to midnight shift at the Sarasota Herald Tribune at the time. And recognized Pee Wee Herman's real name, Paul Rubens. They've all been broke the story, but led one of the greatest. I think it was the Video Music Awards for MTV. Heard any good jokes lately? By the way, I'll give you $5 right now if you can tell me the name of the movie he was watching.
Why would I know that?
I do.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me. Your brain's full of all kinds of depraved stuff.
Naughty Nurses, I believe is what it was called. It was either Naughty Nurse or Naughty Nurses was the movie playing at the time. But literally, no one could believe this story. So they called, and it was confirmed. But I've heard of bad bosses. I've heard of bad management. There's no shortage of that in the world today.
I've got a weird question about Pee Wee Herman, though.
Okay. There's not much that's not weird, but
okay. Well, but what? And it's not really just concerning people. What do you do at an adult movie theater watching porn in a darkened auditorium?
That's kind of that's the purpose.
Isn't that? I mean,
like we used to have a couple in Des Moines that closed down. I never frequented them, but I was aware.
I knew they were there. I've never
of their existence, and maybe it's because I had the internet at an early age, but the Fred Willards and Pee Wee Hermans, and again, who knows how many people go to these things on a daily basis. I always thought that's exactly what they were for. But it's kind of like Vice rolling down 6th Avenue. You know what you're going to find. It's pretty much a shooting barrel, and no pun intended. So that's why Vice kind of sits down and waits for the inevitable to happen, and I don't know, makes quota or.
Who wants to cuff that guy? I just.
I definitely. I don't know if the cops were making.
Can you go wash your hands, sir, and then we're going to take you to jail?
Of the rubber gloves back then.
But, it's kind of like going to a porn shop and busting into the arcades, thinking nothing bad is happening there.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. At least in the arcade. I was the first in my peer group to turn 18. So I was the one who had to go get, I believe it was the blue Roadshow video membership card.
Sure.
That one allowed you to go into the saloon. Remember this?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's where they kept the adult movie, in the saloon. And again, brilliant marketing, because you could, if you kind of glanced, you could see what was in there. But on the flip side, for whatever reason, and maybe Roadshow Video, they're out of business. They couldn't afford WD-40 because it was always loud when you would open the saloon doors. So that everyone in the Roadshow Video would know, we got one of those here. But I had to go buy the first nudie mag. Just because... No more having to scrounge, for a Fredericks of Hollywood. We're teenagers.
We just went to the quick shop, and one guy went up and talked to the guy, and the other cat made the selection.
Oh no, I had to actually purchase it, but
it's because you didn't have a brother.
Yeah, well, I did, but he was younger than me.
Well, I was the younger brother that was distracted.
I wouldn't. No, Jesus, you were a delinquent.
Or my older brother was delinquent.
But I wouldn't. I have it because I spend way too much of my disposable income at convenience stores. I wouldn't do it at any of the stores. So I had to drive down by Roosevelt and use the quick shop there. I think it was a quick stop. I had to get the saloon card, and I had to go to, it was the gallery. Actually waited on that one until my next friend turned 18 and could get in. So we went on his birthday. By the way, never go to one of those stores on your birthday and announce it, because they will try to give you a gift.
I don't even want to know what the gift would be.
It was a lollipop, actually. It wasn't like, I don't give you like any of that.
What was the lollipop shaped like, Bradshaw?
The male member.
Why would a couple guys... Of course, it was a couple guys walking into one of those shops. I guess I see the logic there.
I think they understood how uncomfortable we were and wanted to exacerbate the issue.
Yeah, I would make you miserable.
That was exactly what it was, I'm sure. But yeah, they have the booths. I guess someplace in Des Moines actually had like the Madonna video nudie booth. Are you familiar with the nudie booth? Neither was I until I watched Clerks. You've seen Clerks,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen Clerks.
Yeah, they have. You tip like through like one of those gas station windows.
Oh,
and there's a girl dancing.
Yeah. And I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Whatever.
I've watched enough CSU to.
Yeah, we used to have one of those places back. For all the people who complain about Gateway Park and oh my God, they put a subway. Do you not remember what used to be in that area? That used to be like no-go zone. I mean, it was like dangerous, but your feet would. I mean, it was a seedy, sketchy area. So the fact that we're even complaining that they're building a subway shows how far we've come. So I don't know. That's just. I mean, in the annals of bad bossitude, I'm not sure where that ranks along with, like, hostess stealing pension money or, running companies into the ground to sell them for scrap or Gordon Gekko Terry. But you guys figure out who gets fired. Good luck. Have fun. Let us know when you've decided. It is the pinnacle.
Wouldn't you just both want to quit? I would think they would both have a desire just to quit.
I would go full on Office Space. You gonna take my stapler? I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
They told me that I could listen to music at a reasonable level between the hours of 10 and 2.
I mean, at that point, yeah. I mean, would you have a problem like taking every laptop, every computer that wasn't bolted down? I mean, it's a giant FU.
Well, I wouldn't steal from the company, but that's me.
Why? They've shown themselves to be without any sort of honor. If I were Klingon, I would be forced to kill them where they stood.
Even if I didn't have a moral objection, the legal ramifications would still exist. And I don't want to go to. I don't give a rat's behind about a laptop, so I don't care if I would take it or not.
I would be so. I mean, obviously, someone's irked if this story got leaked and then confirmed. Because obviously the Kansas City Star would like to keep this under wraps, I'm sure. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is something that happens fairly regularly, but I've never heard of Thunderdome being brought into hiring and firing decisions. Yeah, I mean, might as well just give them each a sock with $5 in quarters,
vigilante style,
and tell them or do it like beat it. We're gonna tie their left hands together and give them a switchblade. Why not? MMA fighting. What's next?
Now that would be something.
Are you not entertained? We'll do it gladiator style.
Sure.
The CEO can sit up in the royal box. You throw the two of them in there, maybe with some lions and. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Since we're wasting time here. Before the election started, and certainly more so after, no shortage of, hey, Republicans, you're in a bad place right now. It is a party that has been taken over by wackos, weirdos, true believers, grifters, you name it. And until that pestilence gets flushed from the system, again, I don't say this because, this isn't like Sean Hannity concerned trolling. Right? Hey, what Democrats need to do is just give Republicans everything they want. And, well, you're still going to call them, communist, socialist, Kenyan anti-colonialist, anti-American traitors. You're just going to get your way while doing it. So this isn't Republican concern trolling. This is the Republican Party is bad for America right now. Everything from when Chief Justice John Roberts says we have a problem with too few judges, and that won't get Republicans off their duffs. To break some filibusters, not place, anonymous holds, not threaten to bring the entire Senate to a halt, getting bills past, things that used to have bipartisan support. It was always, you'd have that kind of 50, 60% of the opposition party that would remain in opposition at all times. And you have the 30% you'd work with. Your gangs of 6, 8, 14, 36, 24, 36, but only if she's 5'3". That system is breaking down. The good versus evil mentality has so been taken in by the base. You understand, for a Republican politician to reach across the aisle, and again, this isn't exaggeration. This isn't trying to make a point here, but literally seen as would Jesus reach across the aisle to cut a deal with Beelzebub? Only in those Oh God movies. And only George Burns could pull that off. That's how they see. If you spend, your political capital, if your message to your base is that the other side is evil, out to get you, going to kill us all, what does it say about you if you cut a deal with them? That's not leading the country. That's not getting anything done. That's not dealing with real issues. So I've certainly talked about this. I've tried to lay the case out. Again, not because I want conservatives and Republicans to win anything, but I do believe it takes the two parties. And when you have 35 to 48% of the populace, in a fever dream, that's a problem. I want to bring them back to reality. And it's certainly been a topic in, political journalism. Certainly, ex-Republican says. We've seen articles by guys like David Fromm, Bruce Bartlett, hey, this is not helping, guys. Here's an alternate today. Former Republican, 6 reasons GOP is doomed. And it's the usual suspects of, Latinos hate you. And it's not even close. Younger people are turned off by, the fundamentalism. And unfortunately, again, they stopped making people born in 1948 so it's not like we're seeing an explosion of 65-year-olds. Even George Will was on the Sunday shows this week saying, opposition to gay marriage. But yet, even 2004 was used as a wedge issue to bring fundamentalists to the polls to vote for George W. Bush. Right, is now a hindrance in bringing younger people to the party. George Will, who's not exactly some sort of die-hard liberal, said, opposition to same-sex marriage is literally dying off. It's, again, nice of him to catch on to what I've been saying for years, but it's still good to hear, and it was given, widespread attention. So Republicans have problems, and it's become so over the top and so blatant that even non-political media is picking up on it. On KCCI's site, right, which is all about, local stuff and missing kids and water level qualities. Republican Party image takes hit post-election. Wall Street Journal poll conducted 1 month after Election Day and released Wednesday indicates the GOP's favorable rating slipping, with 30% of respondents viewing the party favorably, 45% view the party unfavorably. That's like a headline on KCCI's site. Right? They want to talk about weather beacons and lost dogs and, local crime. But I made it there. The one that caught me, Gawker, which is not on my usual list of things to check out. What's on the Gawker webpage now? Barbara Walters is the most fascinating person of the 10 most fascinating people in 2012, especially when she says FOTS. 2012's definitive list of unusual baby names. The smartest and dumbest things Nintendo did in 2012. So Gawker's kind of a tabloid site. But even they picked up on this. And in this case, it was Matt Drudge that led them to water, and they are drinking deeply. Why is the Drudge Report covered in N-word, the coming right-wing freakout over Django Unchained? Now, Django Unchained is a slave revenge film by Quentin Tarantino, where Jamie Foxx plays a slave whose wife is literally stolen from him, gets free and kills everyone in typical Quentin Tarantino style. Sorry, I spoiled the movie. It's supposed to, this ultra-violent gore, revenge flick. Myself, I'm in Camp Adam Serwer, writer for American Prospect. So, the real black revenge story, The Cosby Show. Yeah, all your stereotypes. Bleep you were upper middle class family, lawyer, doctor, good kids. That's the revenge story. Like, you backwoods hillbilly racist, they live a better life than you. But that's neither here nor there. Yesterday, the 40-point font, how many times did he put it up there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost a Dr. Laura number. The I was replaced with a star, so it wasn't. As it turns out, the people really bothered by the racial politics of Django Unchained, which doesn't come out till Christmas, are the gutter commenters of the internet right and their enablers in the conservative media. What he's saying is, I figured the problem would be with we politically correct types, and I'll have to maybe point out that showing a slave as incredibly violent and backwards with the Tarantino isn't subtle, but it turns out the folks on the right having a bit of a problem with this movie. So Max Reed is the writer, decides to go to some of the places I tell you not to go. And that is conservative websites with comment sections, any article involving race. And, sees the calls for buying more guns. I mean, ponder this one. Your response to a Hollywood movie is, better buy guns now. I mean, I joke about gun people believing that a gun is the solution for the common cold. It becomes their answer to every problem. How do you deal with crime? More guns. How do you deal with common cold? More guns. How do you deal with gun safety? More guns. But Republicans have a bit of a base problem. And it's not just, we political folks that have picked up on it. Where the same site where you can find some really unfortunate pictures of Anne Hathaway's nether regions. She's a cat burglar, not a commando. Is picking up that, wow, this is like a real cesspool of racism, and where did these people get it from? Certainly shows that Django Unchained, unsurprisingly, has already been the subject of a series of heated blog posts on white nationalist sites. Django Unchained, incitement to racially motivated murder, goes one headline. Another one calls it an anti-white racial snuff film. National Review Online, another conservative website, and Breitbart won't write that out specifically, but they know they don't have to. They're sharing an audience with the white nationalist sites, an audience that thinks President Obama has been a racially divisive president, an audience that believes that a race war is on the horizon, an audience that sympathizes with George Zimmerman, an audience that thinks the SNL monologue, last weekend Jenny monologue, qualifies as an incitement to violence. That's Drudge's audience, too. Not that Drudge feels as constrained as National Review Online to sanitize this paranoia stroking. And if Drudge, the most gifted race baiter since Lee Atwater, has identified the movie as a flashpoint for the kind of terror that characterizes American racism, it means there's a freakout coming. That or Drudge just wanted to write the N-word on his homepage 7 times. The guy, I don't know how to, it's not that I dislike conservatives, Republicans, but I don't know, I want to be, slap them out of it. Like, how do you break the fever? Guys, come back to reality. Everything is not a conspiracy theory. Obama's not going to put you in a FEMA death camp. You might not need, 1,000 pounds of food insurance brought to you by Glenn Beck. Maybe, just maybe. Again, don't take my word for it. Just go back and check out those conservative books. They all like to make predictions and tell you what's coming, what's going on. How much of that has come true? And I'm not even talking about the blatant stuff like the Romney landslide. All those horror stories Republicans filled you with in 2008. How many of them are true? Have your taxes gone up or down? For 95% of you, down. Guess what? There's not a bureaucrat between you and your doctor, other than an insurance company actuary. In fact, a handful of insurance companies had to write checks to people because they ripped you off. They were spending too much money on, CEO compensation and pretty buildings, and not enough on, actual patient care, what you're paying for health insurance for. The economy's improving, certainly not fast enough. But all these horrible things they tell you are coming or happening, magically they don't come true, and magically we're on to our next outrage a day later. And everything they said in the past gets dropped down the memory hole. I mean, they blatantly lied to you for months about the election, but that's not enough. I don't know what it'll take. I mean, short of Rupert Murdoch and Roger Ailes literally going to every, conservative house in America and slapping someone in the face and spitting on their babies. That, or maybe, and this is the truly scary, is far scarier than anything Quentin Tarantino puts on the screen. That these folks get off on living that way. And maybe they're just lost causes. That's the scary thing. But Drudge ain't going to put that in a 40-point headline. And if you don't believe, don't take my... Go to a Breitbart site. Go to Fox Nation. Just find any article with a picture of a black person. And go read the comment section. Max Reed did. And was shocked by what he saw. I think and he works for a tabloid site. Just at random, just go to Fox Nation, go to Breitbart, go to WorldNet Daily, find anything involving race or a person of color, and go read the articles. Go read the comments. If they haven't been disabled. Fox Nation has taken to doing that as of late because they know what their audience is, and they give them what they want. All right. Email radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Or just twitter.com/radiobradshaw to see the snarky things I say to everyone, except Ken Sorensen, who has me blocked because he's a giant vaginus. We'll reconvene tomorrow for the Friday edition of the show, tomorrow at 1:30. And I will see you there on the BradshawShow.com here on Webcast One Live. Thanks for watching. Go outside. Enjoy yourself. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bunch of Chewy. Anytime now.